Rosenberger here of virtualwayfair.com. Gearing up for an 18-day trip to Scandinavia. Going to be spending a lot of time in Norway, a little time in Denmark, a little time in Germany, possibly quick day trips over to Sweden, and doing an overnighter in Dublin. Again, 18 days backpacking and hosteling, so you'll recognize some of this stuff is familiar as review if you've watched some of my other videos or read some of my blog posts, but hopefully some of it's new for you. And if you're a first-time viewer, thank you for coming to the site. So let's start out up top here. I've got my normal DOP kit, nothing special there. It has all the usual toiletries in it, nothing atypical. 2 books, you know, just lightweight paperbacks, nice and cheap books that I'm not, I'm not worried about leaving behind, and I'll just drop those in a hostel library as I'm going along. The 2 boxes to the left are probably not something that you're going to want or need, although you might consider doing a variation on them. I also run ultimatepackinglist.com and travelresourcelist.com. So I've made up a couple resource list business cards, which I'm just going to leave at a couple different hostels along the way, and just hopefully help fellow travelers out and help them find videos like this one. Now, that cotton swabs box actually holds my memory cards. I'll be taking a Canon G11 camera and a Vixia HF200, which is actually the only item that you will not see in this packing list, and that's because I'm actually shooting on it right now. I've got 2 8 gig cards, which I'm keeping in there as kind of backup cards. Now, you'll see the remote. The remote's actually for this camera, and that'll help me do kind of hands-free, wiggle-free pans and zooms, and then there is the charger and a backup battery for my Canon G11, which you see immediately below. To the right is just a real basic lens cleaner. I'll use that on my glasses as well as my cameras. Now, I've also decided to do a rail pass for this trip, mainly because I'll be heading to really expensive rail countries. If I was doing Italy or Spain, I probably wouldn't have bothered with a rail pass, but given where I'm going, it was well worth it. $390 for a 4-country, 8-day over 2-month flexible pass, which really good deal in the long run, as long as each leg only costs €50 by going through the rail pass, which is a lot different than the 100 or 150 which I'd be looking at otherwise. I've decided to take my netbook with me on this trip, so that's ultralight, portable, and gives me a lot of power. You'll see the 2 chargers, one for my Vixia and one for the netbook immediately under that, and a small mouse just because I would much rather lug a real light small mouse around than deal with a mouse pad. I've decided to take 2 polos, which you see here, and then 2 normal t-shirts, as well as 2 pairs of jeans. Now, I was tempted to only take 1 pair of jeans, but I'm heading to a colder climate, and I'm heading to a very wet climate. So I know that I'm probably going to get drenched at least at one point during the trip. So I wanted, back up, which I figure a 2nd pair of jeans probably won't hurt me any. I picked my shirts based on color, things that really won't show dirt, things that are comfortable, and things that are fairly warm. You'll see these here. These are actually probiotics, which I always like taking along, just because it makes tackling foreign foods and added stresses a lot easier, and a lot easier on the system. Also, not a huge dairy person, so that kind of makes those a little more viable. This is a extended extra battery pack for my Vixia HF200, and then above that is a lens kit, which just has a couple polarizers and things of that nature. And that's next to a Gorilla Pad. I really like the Gorilla Pad because it's extra flexible, and I can use it on both cameras. That's really getting as much bang for my buck as I possibly can. Memory cards that work on both, tripod that works on both. And then to the left, you'll see a little mini USB cord, which works for my MP3 player, which is just a little Sansa cheap, small 4 GB disc player. And then a pair of extra earbuds, actually from a previous flight. A lot of times they try and charge you on the short leg ones, or they want you to, find a splitter. So I find saving that and taking that along, it saves me a couple bucks. Trying something new here, didn't want to take a calculator, and don't have a watch right now. Also not traveling with the smartphone, leaving that behind, or rather don't have a smartphone, so leaving my normal phone behind. The thing I like about it was only 15 bucks, so I'm not worried if it really gets destroyed or damaged. And it has a built-in calculator as well as the time, so that'll be great for currency conversion. I've got a power plug for the UK, and I'm actually missing a European power plug. I loaned mine out, so I'm going to just pick one of those up in the airport or once I get on the ground and arrive. Next to that, just a little notebook, and then a Lonely Planet Scandinavia Europe guide, which will be really useful. Normally, it's a 50-50 on if I pick up a guide and go with it. I've decided to do it on this trip just to make life a little easier and just give it a go and not kind of stumble through the whole thing, especially because accommodation's a little more limited in Norway. You'll see my passport and my flight confirmation printouts, which are always important to remember and take with us. Now down here I've got 2 dress shirts. I figure I'll be going out and spending a little time out exploring the nightlife, and so even though those are optional, it's something that I've opted to go with just to kind of spice things up and open up my options as far as nightclubs and things of that nature. I've decided to take 6 pairs of socks. So you'll see the 4 big kind of wool travel socks, which kind of they've got arch support and things like that, and then 2 smaller, significantly more lightweight kind of athletic socks. And those also have some arch support, which I really like because it really kind of helps supplement my walking and hiking boots, which make life really easy. And because they dry quickly, it's a nice alternative to the other 4 pairs of socks. If they're taking a little too long to dry or something that I'm a little behind, I can do the light ones overnight and be good to go by the time I'm ready to get up. This is my Northface vest, which has been a great vest. It's kind of wind resistant, really warm, has great pockets, but it's not so warm that I overheat if it's 50, 60 degrees outside. Be taking 6 pairs of boxers. 3 are ex officio travel boxers and 3 are normal boxers. So 3 will be extra quick drying and 3 will be kind of normal. And I could really do it on fewer, but I like having the extra option there. This jacket is just a rainproof jacket, and I'll be really focusing on layering things. So between a scarf, a cap, the jacket, and my vest, and then a t-shirt, I can really handle cooler temperatures without having to pack really heavily. This is a great MSR pack towel. It's actually tiny. I went with one of the smaller sizes, which I can't even wrap around me, but it works out really well. It gets the job done. It dries quickly, and it takes up less space than a pair of boxers, which is pretty incredible. Right to the right, you'll see a pair of athletic shorts. That's just for the hostel dormitory rooms, things of that nature. Something to sleep in. A paper passport carrier, which I won't wear at all times, but I use it when I'm in the airport. Above that, in the plastic bag, there's dental floss, spare toilet paper, and a couple plastic bags. Never know when you're going to need them or what they're going to come in handy for, so always good to have on hand. To the left here, this is an inflatable neck pillow, which is really useful for flights or train rides. And to the left there of that, there's an old kind of country driving cap, which I like as an alternative to a baseball cap. Lets me blend in a little bit more, sets things off, and it's also really warm. Above that, stamina vitamins, vitamin powder, which is really useful whenever I'm feeling a little run down. And then above that, I've got a little business card holder. I've got a lock and key for the hostel lockers, a eye cover for my flights, and then $2 pairs of sandals for the shower next to a swimming suit. And then I've got my scarf, which is a really warm fleece scarf, which I absolutely love and makes a huge difference. 2 pairs of shoes, a little atypical, hiking shoes, and then evening shoes if I decide to go out salsa dancing or do something of that nature. Nice to have a backup, even though it takes up a lot of space and a lot of weight. My 2 packs, this is my day pack. It's just a small school pack, picked it up at Walmart. Real simple, real easy. I'll put all my electronics in it for my day-to-day activities. And then here's my other pack, which is only slightly larger. Again, a cheap Walmart pack. I keep it so light that it really doesn't matter that it doesn't have incredible support, but there's just enough support in it to, it's got hip clips and everything else, so it works out very well. That is it. That'll be all I'll be taking with me, so I will let you know after the trip how it all works out. Thank you for tuning in.